Leonardo, do you want to kick us off?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm Leonardo Freixas. I'm the founder of Maravedi Advisors, and I work in the alcohol beverage industry. I'm particularly excited to share my perspective as 2024 is coming to a close. One prominent trend has been the rise of mindful drinking and the sober curious movement, with record participation in Dry January and a surge in high-quality non-alcoholic options. Companies like Diageo have expanded their non-alcoholic portfolios, notably through their acquisition of Ritual Zero Proof, the leading non-alcoholic spirit brand in the U.S. This positions Diageo as a top player in the growing segment, underscoring the increasing consumer interest in non-alcoholic alternatives. Traditional beer sales have hit a 25-year low as consumers pivot towards cocktails, hard seltzers, and imports. Also, the global wine market has also been affected with shifting preferences for lighter options like sparkling wines and other alcoholic and non-alcoholic products. Economic pressures, particularly inflation, have raised production and distribution costs, prompting companies to balance premium and affordable offerings. However, these economic challenges are not merely obstacles. They serve as catalysts for innovation and shifts in strategy. Companies that adapt to these pressures by finding efficiencies and embracing new operational practices can set themselves apart in the market, capturing the attention of value-driven consumers. Meanwhile, climate change poses additional challenges impacting grape harvests through extreme weather events, disrupting supply chains, and in response, many companies are adopting sustainability initiatives that encompass various aspects of their operation. Ingredient sourcing is becoming increasingly important, with alcohol producers emphasizing sustainability practices. Major brewers like Carlsberg and Heineken are exploring regenerative agriculture to produce hops and barley. The industry is also making strides to reduce energy consumption and water wastage, with many producers aiming for carbon neutral production through renewable energy sources and improved efficiency in production facilities. Consumer expectations have also shifted significantly, with 92% of consumers indicating that environmental responsibility is crucial when selecting products. The brands that embrace authenticity and effectively communicate their sustainable practices are finding new consumer bases that prioritize these values. Another major discussion this year has been no safe level narrative surrounding alcohol consumption, heavily influenced by media coverage and public health debates. The discourse has challenged long-held perceptions about moderate drinking, shaping public policy and consumer choices. The regulatory landscape is also evolving, with ongoing cannabis legislation presenting opportunities for collaboration between alcohol and cannabis brands. As daily cannabis use surpasses alcohol amongst younger demographics, the potential for cross-industry partnerships is expanding. And at the same time, governments are enforcing stricter alcohol regulations on label advertising and responsible consumption. Lastly, artificial intelligence is transforming product development and operational efficiency, allowing companies to respond faster to market demands and streamline production processes. In summary, 2024 has been a year of resilience, adaptation, and innovation for the alcohol beverage industry. And as consumers' preferences evolve towards wellness, sustainability, and quality, brands that navigate and embrace these economic and climate challenges as opportunities will set themselves apart, paving the way for continued transformation in 2025.
Love it. Awesome. That was awesome, Leonardo. Jennifer, what do we got?
Well, I am a newsletter publisher, so what's really been making waves for us has been AI. And it's been kind of a two-way street on that one. It's been good and bad. Really, this year, the focus has been about playing with it and letting it play with me. We're facing algorithms out there in the news world that kind of prioritize like clicks over quality. So an audience is also really distracted by what's trending and not so much what's important. So I've been able to find this year a really big chance to use AI both as a toolkit and kind of a partner that's helping me to reshape how I find and I share and how I'm delivering the content that our readers are looking for. And that's partially because, algorithms are really good at nudging us towards what's popular, but they're not always pushing us towards what's the most meaningful content out there. So I've been using AI a lot more in this last year to find ways to identify stories that truly matter, even if they're not the ones that are going to trend. So right now I have a lot of AI tools that are out there scanning topics that are very important to me, like sustainable energy advancements and ethical AI debates. And it's not just looking at social media feeds where everybody's getting the same rehashed narrative. We're looking at niche publications and blogs that are probably never going to make those trending lists. And when we do that, it helps us to not just spit out the same stuff everybody's hearing. We're filtering it and then making sure that our readers are able to get content that's not just real, it's really relevant. So, that can be challenging when everybody's doom scrolling and there's a lot of people vying for competition for your voice. So, there's again another tool that can help with that. Whether you've got a headline that's really weak and you need to strengthen it, in our world, it's not like a dedicated send. We have one shot to make things work. So I'll use some generated variations and some tools that check deliverability and things that are going to get things in the spam folders. It's really fun. And you can also make some interactive elements. People don't want to just have the news spit at them. They want to react to the news and they want to participate in the story with you. So maybe I use it to make an infographic about something that's pretty complex, like Neuralink's brain implant trials. It just means that I can capture attention and hold on to it. Unlike you guys, I'm not a financial background person. I'm not an expert, but I am the expert of a good Rolodex. So when it comes time for me to talk about the markets, I don't have to know everything about the markets because I can call up my buddy Bill Padalon or I can call Tim Melvin and they happen to have Warren Buffett on their speed dial. So I don't need to learn that stuff. So AI has helped me to focus really on what matters, what people want to hear about, the stories that matter to them, and it gets us working on it together because there's always news breaking. It's never going to stop, especially in an election cycle. There's been 47 October surprises so far this year in the US, and it still looks like, it's November, but I think there could be more surprises. So it's just been an interesting year. I think it's going to prove challenging now that Claude is out there using computer use. The thing I'm talking about helping me is probably going to make my job harder. I'm not going to know who those opens and clicks are really from. Bots are buying things now. It's crazy, but it's really fun. And it's nice to be part of the Wild West in this. And especially when, dealing with other experts like yourself.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. That was awesome. Gennaro, what do we got on your side?
Yep. I was lucky enough in the last 10 years to be working on the India space, and the same line of Jennifer. I got the chance to really look at the evolution of the whole AI landscape. So I would say last quarter has been super interesting because we are going through a moment of critical change because there is a sort of AI demand gap. And we saw in the last big tech earnings where major players like Amazon, Meta, Google are spending this year alone $80 billion just in data center infrastructure to actually being able to catch up with the demand. So the most interesting aspect of this quarter when we look at the latest financial releases is that actually those players were not able to cover for the AI demand that we got into the industry. And so they're investing 80 billion just like in data centers, pretty much infrastructure just to serve that kind of demand. So I think we are at the moment of sort of AI convergence where it's very easy to be cynical about it. And in the short term, there is a lot of buzz. There will be a lot of failures, a lot of capital that will be lost in this AI race. But on the other side, if we look at it from a long-term perspective, this is quite interesting because if we look at it at how the web has evolved in the last 30 years, starting from 95 to 2024, pretty much where we are right now, we went in a full cycle of really development of the web, where we saw the birth of new industries, especially in the early 2000s. We got the birth of industries like streaming, social media, all industries that we didn't have before. And I think we're gonna get in the same at the same stage with AI, but not now. In the next 5-10 years, where we're gonna see this AI convergence. So in my opinion, we're gonna have two critical phases. The first one is gonna be the next 5-10 years, where we're gonna have AI integrated with anything on the web. So anything that the web has done in terms of new industries, from streaming to advertising to social media, AI is going to be integrated on top of it to actually amplify the existing web infrastructure. And then in the next 10-30 years, we're going to have a full cycle of AI that we can call AI convergence, where AI is going to create whole new set of industries that we don't know yet how that's going to be called, but it's the really merging of the existing AI paradigm with industries that otherwise would not be viable at scale. I'm talking about self-driving, general purpose robotics, AR, VR, cybersecurity, quantum computing, edge, and many others. So we see that by merging the current AI paradigm with those domains, we'll see the emergence of a new sort of paradigm where we're going to see many other industries that before did not exist, what I call, again, AI convergence. So we are at this pivotal moment where it's very easy to be cynical about AI in the short term, but I think this is going to be super transformative, and we need to look at it with an eye of next 10-30 years, just like it happened with the commercial internet. And that's a super interesting time to be in. And as someone who's been working in the AI industry in the last 10 years, I think it's super exciting to be here. Even if challenging, it's super exciting.
I love it. Thank you for that, Gennaro. And the last thing I will add is Meta has a new robot hand that is released, and that is something to watch. Is anybody kind of creating on the robotic side of things? Because AI right now is just reading text and learning from that, but it won't be up to human par until it has sensory like humans. We have 80 million cones in our eyes. We have a chain of bones, how we interpret actual words in ourselves, and that gets merged with smell and everything else when we experience food in front of us, when we experience people in front of us, right? So we are looking at a gap of sensor parity, and so to watch that is actually going to tell us where AI is going in the future.